Do you play instruments?
Barely.
Do you know how to work a soundboard?
No. I have no technical ability, and I know nothing about music.
You must know something.
Well, I know what I like and what I don't like, and I'm decisive about what I like and what I don't like.
So what are you being paid for?
The confidence that I have in my taste and my ability to express what I feel has proven helpful for artists.
Alright folks, today we're diving deep into the mind of one of music's most enigmatic and influential figures, Rick Rubin. This is the man who, without playing an instrument or touching a soundboard much, shaped the sound of generations. And if you ask him, it all happened unintentionally. So how does a man with no formal training become one of the most legendary producers of all time? Grab your favorite headphones, settle in, and let's get into it. Now you might think Rick Rubin started off in some high-tech studio, but nah, his origins were much grittier. Picture this, a punk rock kid at NYU, completely obsessed with music, but not in the way you'd expect. Rubin was in a punk band, recorded some tracks, and fell in love with the studio environment. But here's the twist, he wasn't about to just stick with punk. Around this time, hip-hop was still an underground movement, bubbling up in the Bronx and Brooklyn. Rubin found himself at Negro, a tiny Manhattan club, where hip-hop was taking form. He was just a fan, until he wasn't. Every Tuesday night he'd head down to this club, soaking in the raw energy of DJs cutting breakbeats, MCs freestyling, and a whole new culture forming before his eyes. He wasn't just watching, he was studying. Back then, hip-hop wasn't even mainstream. It was a movement happening in parks, small clubs, and underground parties. It was gritty, real, and unpredictable, exactly the kind of energy that fascinated Rubin. So, Rubin's at NYU, he's soaking in the energy of these underground hip-hop parties, and he notices something. The live performances, raw, bass-heavy, full of breakbeats, sounded nothing like the records being released. Those records were way too polished, too R&B influence. So what does he do? He decides to make a record that actually captures the raw energy of hip-hop. With no music industry experience, no connections, just pure love for the sound, he starts Def Jam Recordings, and guess where he runs it from? His dorm room. He wasn't alone in this journey. Enter Russell Simmons, a street-savvy hustler who knew the ins and outs of the emerging hip-hop business. Together, they turned Def Jam into a powerhouse. The combination was perfect. Rubin's artistic vision and Simmons' business acumen created a label that would define an era. The first record Rubin produced, It's Yours by Tila Rock, and guess what? It worked. The song exploded in the underground scene. That success led him to LL Cool J, who at just 16 had sent a demo tape to Def Jam's headquarters, aka Rick's dorm room. LL became Def Jam's first signed artist, and boom, the hip-hop revolution was in motion. Then came Run-D.M.C. Rubin was instrumental in their harder, stripped-down sound, leading to massive hits like Walk This Way with Aerosmith. This wasn't just hip-hop anymore. Rubin was breaking down genre walls. But it wasn't always smooth sailing. Many in the industry doubted hip-hop's staying power. Even radio stations weren't sure what to do with it. But Rubin kept pushing forward, working with acts like the Beastie Boys, who blended rap with punk rock energy, creating a sound entirely their own. Their album, License to Ill, became a massive success, proving that hip-hop wasn't just a passing trend, it was here to stay. But Rick Rubin wasn't just about hip-hop. He had this instinct, this ability to hear the purest form of an artist's sound, strip away the unnecessary fluff, and make magic happen. That's how he ended up producing Slayer's Rain in Blood, one of the most influential metal albums of all time. Imagine going from LL Cool J to Slayer, only Rick Rubin. And he didn't stop there. He worked with the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Johnny Cash, Jay-Z, Kanye West, Metallica. The list is endless. Each time Rubin wasn't imposing his style, he was helping artists find theirs. Think about it. How do you go from producing hip-hop's hardest beats to redefining metal, then turning around and reviving Johnny Cash's career? That's the genius of Rubin. He had a rare gift for making any genre feel fresh, authentic, and powerful. Now, what's Rick's secret? If you ask him, he'd say it's all about feeling. He doesn't play instruments, doesn't mix tracks, doesn't fiddle with knobs. Instead, he listens deeply. He strips songs down to their rawest form, making sure they hit at an emotional level. He believes in minimalism, removing everything that doesn't serve the song. That's how he transformed Johnny Cash's Hurt into one of the most haunting covers ever recorded. Rubin's approach has always been about capturing truth in music. He encourages artists to dig deep, to be vulnerable, and to trust their instincts. Whether it's coaching an artist through an emotional performance or suggesting a radical change in production, Rubin's touch is unmistakable. What makes Rick Rubin a legend? It's not just his ear for music, it's his philosophy, his ability to help artists rediscover their essence. Whether it's hip-hop, rock, country, or pop, Rubin understands that music isn't just about sound, it's about emotion, energy, and authenticity. And let's be real, how many producers can say they've shaped multiple genres? Hip-hop, metal, alternative rock, country. Rubin didn't just dabble in them, he redefined them. Artists trust him not just because of his track record, but because of his ability to bring out their best. Rick Rubin didn't set out to be a legendary producer. He just followed his passion and the world followed him. If there's one thing to take away from his story, it's this: do what you love, and if you do it with enough heart, the world will take notice. Alright, that's it for today's deep dive. If you enjoyed this, make sure to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments which Rick Rubin produced album is your favorite. And I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.